Everybody can hear us? Hello.
Mm.
so it's this is welcome everybody. We're here with See the Bear, that's me. It's my lovely face. And we've got Rippin Kittin, who's joining me for the stream. Isn't that fantastic? How are you doing,
Yes,
Rippin?
it's amazing. I'm good. I'm good. I'm just gonna remove my little square. What the hell is going on?
Maybe like bottom middle would be nice. I'll do a shout out
Yeah.
for you, Rippin. Let's do it.
I'll try and do a shout out for you too. How do I do a shout out again?
It's back no forward slash shout out.
Forward slash shout out. Shout out, not shout out.
Shout
Out.
out. And
Shout out. What is a forward slash?
it's the one where it's question mark and slash on the same
Ah,
key.
okay, got it, got it.
Yeah,
It gives a suggestion. Suggestion, see you.
but
Do I?
Rippin's got a European keyboard, so I don't know if that's different. Um,
Yes, it is different.
so we've got
Oh,
oh
this is mine. This is
Songer
mine.
Spark. Hello, thanks for the follow. Um, so brother Casper, hello. We got Sam. Hello Sam. Hi guys. You
Hello, brother Casper. Hello, Sam.
Brother Casper says he misses us all. Ah,
We miss him too.
has everybody had a great New Year's so far? How do you think your New Year's been going so far, Rippin?
Me?
Yeah,
Mm, I hate New Year's.
you hate New Year's?
And I have bad news after New Year's,
Yeah.
and work is being a bitch after New Year's, so
Mm.
the year hasn't started very well. But I have coffee in my still Christmas cup that I got for Christmas. I'm pretending it's still Christmas. My Christmas tree is still up.
Ah, that's right. So you can stay within Christmas time, and then
Yeah,
yeah,
forever.
that's
It's
fantastic.
my time capsule.
All in your mind, you know. That's the power of positive thinking. I like it.
Exactly. Oh, these cookies are way too good. I'm gonna munch these.
So, just for everybody today, this is the second time we've run a stream like this. What we're doing
Hmm.
is we're discussing Reddit posts, and there are subreddits called "Am I the a-hole?" um, advice, and other things like that. So we'll just be reading them out and giving our 2 cents, and we'd love to hear your thoughts too. Anybody on both streams on what you think. So it's just us sticky beaking into people's personal dilemmas. So isn't that going to be good discussion? We had a good time last time. I think it worked pretty well.
Yeah, we just need to some consistency in doing this, but that's my fault because I'm too busy.
You too busy? Yeah.
Well,
Rippin's
yeah, I have been.
Rippin juggles a lot, and I'm a I'm a very carefree bear. So
No, I wish we could switch places
I
sometimes,
I'm happy for my current position.
You don't want to switch with me.
I'm sorry.
It's fine. I get it.
Um,
Ah,
all right, so let me think. This one was yours. That's currently on the screen. Is that
yes.
right? Yeah.
Yes.
So do you want to read this
Mm,
one for us, and we'll have a discussion
yes.
on this one.
So, am I the asshole for not allowing my late husband's affair partner come to his funeral? 3 weeks ago, my husband died in a car accident halfway across the country. He said he was going to a work trip, but we later found out that all of that was just another one of his lies and he was actually on a cheating trip. Something he'd seemingly be doing for at least the past 5 years. So, yeah, it's been a very fun few weeks. Feel fantastic. Our kids are 7 female, 14 male, and 19 male. Only the eldest knows about the affair, and we all agreed to keep it to ourselves. The problem lies with his partner. She wanted to be involved. I told her that wouldn't be possible, and she should respect our privacy. Even putting aside my feelings, though he's trying to be strong for his younger siblings, well, even putting my feelings aside, though he's trying to be strong for his younger siblings, my eldest is battling with his anger and grief. Having her there would only cause problems. Regardless, she was there when we arrived at the graveyard, standing some distance away, but she was still close enough to everyone to just make her stand out as if she wants to be seen. I told my brother and he removed her without causing too much of a scene. Afterwards, she sent me a text which summarized basically called me selfish for blocking her from being there and saying I robbed her of the chance to say goodbye properly. For some reason, this is slightly bothering me. I found myself justifying my actions to myself repeatedly since receiving that text. I still believe I did what was right and put my kids first. She had no business there, and her presence would only cause drama. She could always go to his grave whenever she wants to say goodbye. Was I the asshole?
Woo.
Whoosh.
Wow, that was starting pretty heavy straight up, Rippin.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey.
Um gosh. So that's oh well, Old Bolt says hello.
Well,
Well, hello, Old Bolt. Sounds like the
hello,
partner
a
was the
bull from the
cause
UK.
of his death. Wow. Car accident
Um,
wouldn't have happened if he wasn't off with this
I
woman in the
mean,
first place.
see you. To miss this, to me, this screams karma. You know, he's driving to his affair partner and he dies. I mean, kind of sus, but I think life is telling me something that don't do this.
So I'm not a strong believer in karma myself. But this is definitely
I am.
is a very strong argument for it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, this
See?
it's like something that someone would write for a TV show or something, don't you think? You know, it's just so peculiar. Um,
Hmm.
but my opinion
It would
is
be a movie.
it would be a movie. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this they got what they deserved, sort of thing. So I think the wife is, you know, she's the one who's managing the funeral, not the
Hmm.
um not the what do you call it,
The
mistress,
affair partner.
affair partner. Yeah, so she's definitely within her rights to say who can go and who can't go to the funeral, especially like a mistress. Definitely her right to say that. So I'm thinking, yeah, definitely not the a hole at all. And I would be surprised if anybody would disagree, but I'd love to hear anybody who thinks differently.
Um, I slightly, I slightly think differently actually,
Yeah. Okay.
but also put in line that she just found this out, and arranging a funeral is like you can't wait like a couple weeks or a month to arrange a funeral. That is like he dies, and a week later the funeral happens at tops. So this is he dies. She finds out he was cheating for 5 plus years, and she needs to arrange a funeral. It's too little time to cope with things. Because ideally, I would see like, okay, he's been cheating for at least the past 5 years with this woman. I don't know who, if this affair partner is married or not, but if you cheat consistently for 5 years with someone else, one of the two people is at least in love with the other one. So there's a high chance that this woman has been kept on the side by her asshole husband, by the way, and been feeding stories like, I'm gonna leave my wife, I'm gonna do this or that. And she's like, probably madly in love and wants to, like, I mean, I'm kind of like trying to like see the other side now,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's good.
because although if I was the wife, I would be so pissed off. I understand she's angry and I understand why she's doing it. Like, I wouldn't want to cope with an affair partner, but on the other hand, the affair partner is probably also a woman in love with her asshole husband. Um, so if one person is the asshole here, it's her dead husband. Um, and if I would be able to like be the bigger person, I would have called the affair partner and arranged a conversation to like see her, hear her story, and I would like arrange something like, I want you to be there, but keep it modest. Don't tell them who you are. Don't tell my kids. Just be present and say you were a very close friend or something, and I know about you, but don't go tell family about this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep it civil.
Because
Because I
there are children
think,
are involved too, so they shouldn't
yeah,
necessarily need to know about all of this.
because I mean, she's calling her selfish for blocking her from being there and saying she robbed. Yeah, I mean, those words kind of state to me that she was probably very much in love with the guy.
Mm-hmm.
He was just an ass for keeping it going for 5 years.
So I think from the point of view of the wife, um, you
Mm-hmm.
know, whether they were like in love or whether that's whether like the mistress was just the like another innocent party. I don't think that really matters because it's from her perspective, like the wife's perspective, she
Well, the
was
only
wronged.
yeah, the only thing she wouldn't be innocent about is when you find out that the person you are dating and are in love with is married, you get out of there as fast as possible. You don't stick around. And that's well, because Brother Casper said you hit her in the nose when she arrives. It's maybe a bit too far, but yeah, she
Emotionally,
did
hit her in the
something
nose
wrong.
emotionally.
She did something wrong there too. But on the other hand, people do stupid things when they are in love.
Yeah, I think agree. Um, it's just like different shades of gray to what we think, but
Yeah,
I'm agreeing with what your general thought is. Um, and you're right. She
it's
carries
just
some
sad.
responsibility because you know she obviously knows that he is married, so she knows that she is cheating essentially.
Mm-hmm.
She might have a husband too. Who knows? But let's assume that she doesn't. But she knows that the person that she's seeing does have a wife, so
Mm-hmm.
she's responsible in that sense.
Also, I don't know in what country this is, but I know in America, when these things happen, the wives can steal like all the money from the husband and claim child support and all that kind of stuff.
Mm.
So that is probably one of the reasons I mean, I feel like many American men cheat and don't leave their wives. I read this all the time on Reddit. Well, they're like, yeah, I'm gonna lose my house, my money, blah blah blah. Well, in my country, it's just like how you arranged everything from marriage. You have different ways to get married to someone, but usually it's just split 50-50.
So we'll say goodbye to brother Casper. Thanks for dropping in, brother Casper. You have a good one too. It's been nice to
Good night, brother Casper.
catch up with you too. I haven't seen you in a while, so I think you is your Europe trip coming up soon. Yeah, tell us all about it maybe next time whenever we see you next. It was lovely to
Sweet
have you here.
dreams.
Bye bye. Yeah, so Old Bolt says, personally, I would have let them rot on a slab. Yeah. Everyone is different. How I would feel at the time is not how I would feel after I calm down. The problem is with the rest of the family. If there were no kids involved, etc., she would have been told to F off and I would make sure everybody knew about it. Yeah, that's true. The kids make it tricky. I definitely agree with that. Um,
I still wouldn't say to F off. I still would have like, if this was an affair of like a week, maybe a year. But 5 years, see you. 5 years. That's a very long time. That started when the little one was 2 years old.
she knows that it's an affair, so she should accept responsibility of something like this potentially happening. I think is my
Yeah, that's true. Maybe I'm too nice.
I think yeah, you're putting yourself in the situation of the mistress. I think. Um,
Maybe.
what if he would die? Sorry, I don't understand, Sam.
What
What that
that he
he
would die in. It's karma. I'm telling you.
um something something like this would happen. Do you have any final thoughts, Rippin? Maybe we move to the next one.
Mm, no, I don't think she's the asshole. I think the husband is the asshole, and the the mistress is also an asshole because she's doing something with a married man. She's not an asshole. I mean, given the time frame she had to deal with all this, this is a very logical reaction to what is going on. I don't think she is. And if the affair partner had a bit of common sense, she would see that and stop texting the wife.
Hmm.
This is weird. How they have each other's phone? Do they know each other?
That's interesting. Yeah, I like in my head. What I feel like happened was, um, she probably got the mistress got the wife's phone number via some contact within
Maybe the
like the
funeral home or something.
maybe like through Facebook or something. I don't know because I feel like she didn't have connection until she knew that he passed away.
See, this is why I'm glad I don't do social media too much.
All right, let's go to the next one.
Yeah.
Um, so we're gonna maybe go potentially lower stakes here. Uh, I gotta adjust this a little bit. So this one I found, it says, "Am I the a hole for calling my girlfriend cheap? My girlfriend makes six figures as a pharmacist and is still the cheapest person I know. She recently bought a new Toyota RAV4 and wanted the bars above to mount her skis. They quoted her 2,000, and she decided not to get it even though she really wanted it. She spends about 4 months drooling over a handbag that costs $600. She uses a tattered bag from college, and she says she needs one, but she can't bring herself to buy one. I bought it for her for Christmas, and when I gave it to her, she got mad at me for wasting money. She did apologize after saying that she loves it, but $600 is too much to spend on a bag. She never wants to eat out, like, at all. I usually eat out 2 to 3 times a week, but it's hard to get out to eat out even once a month. She always says she can make the same thing for cheaper, and will only eat out after some pleading from me. She doesn't tip very high either, only 15% usually. She only drives when there are things to do. For example, for her to come over, she drops off mail, buys things, and then goes to the gym on the same trip to save gas. I'm sure it's eco-friendly, but it's annoying because I'm at home at 5 and she can't get there until 6:30 and we only have 2 to 3 hours together. She won't ever buy coffee and brings her own coffee kit, maker kit, rather than just buy coffee for trips. And she won't buy bread or oat milk, and she decides to save money even though it takes so long. She tends to only buy things on sale. She saw a very beautiful dress but refused to buy it because it wasn't at least 50% off. When we moved in together, she refused to buy things in IKEA and she bought everything on Facebook Marketplace. I save money too, but I'd rather get new things because it's just gross to use somebody else's leftovers. This weekend, my brother's coming to town, and I told my girlfriend we should go to a trendy restaurant to celebrate. She responded that we should just eat in, and she can make Japanese curry that my brother liked. I told us to stop being so cheap, and we barely eat out anyway. And if she doesn't want to pay, I will. She got mad and accused me of being a D, and refused to
Adi.
talk to me since. There you go. All right, Ripin, what do you think about this one?
Um, at first I was like, okay, no, she's just thrifty, but maybe this is a bit extreme.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I wouldn't say like 15% is, I think, the normal tipping rate. I wouldn't
Yeah.
complain about that. But and like $600 is a lot for a bag. I understand why she is like not. I mean, I think they're both very, very like opposite ways on that end. Um, and they need to sit together and have a good conversation on what they desire and what they can find a middle ground. Because if he went out usually 2, 3 times a week to go out to eat, and she like once a month,
Hmm.
maybe they can like arrange it like
Like halfway between
to
the.
halfway, like to every other week they go out for a dinner or something.
Hmm.
I don't know. You can't complain about her wanting to drive around and save gas. I mean, what the fuck? That's a stupid discussion. um, the dress, well, that's her own decision. I mean, why does is he bothered with that? I don't
That's a good
understand.
point. Yeah, that it seems very something unusual to be annoyed about. Because
Yeah,
if I were in a relationship and my partner is like, "Oh, I don't want to buy this thing that costs $600," I mean, that's usually a good thing. I think I'm more similar to the guy than the girl. No, to the girl than the guy. I think I'm a
and
fairly thrifty bear, I would say.
yeah, me too. I'm also thrifty, and like half of the things in my house is secondhand. So the part where he says she refused to buy things in IKEA and bought it on Facebook Marketplace, um, someone's leftovers can be really good. And
Mm.
IKEA is not the best material. It's usually cheap wood that is stick together and it breaks over time. Um, I have a lot of like almost all my furniture are thrifted. So
Okay, that's great. So it's like high
yeah,
quality, right?
yeah, I have like I have oak furniture and I bought them secondhand. Um but they're quality, and it's decent wood, and it if you clean it up, you can like how do you say it, sand it and like clean it up and oil it again. It's durable. While when you buy a closet in IKEA, well, first of all, it's a hazard to put it together, and it doesn't last like years and years on end.
Hmm.
So I don't see why that is a problem, but I guess it's different views. They need to find a middle ground in this. But when the brother comes over, I think she could give in and say like, "Okay, let's go for a dinner."
Yeah, yeah. I feel like that's the time to to spend some money because your family members coming to visit you. It's a special occasion, and I think that deserves some sort of nice night out. And maybe she can make a
Mm.
nice dinner at home, but um, I can understand the guy's point of view here.
Yeah.
Sam's, yeah, she's got it. She's got my point of view here. She's like, uh, having a thrifty girlfriend is a good thing because
Yeah.
most of the time girlfriends are very expensive, unfortunately. Sounds like lifestyle
I
differences.
even Yeah. Like my mom and I are very different in that way too, because I like thrifted clothes too, and I feel happy when I found like a bargain on a vintage site, and my mom's like, "Ew, you're wearing clothes that's already been worn," but I'm like, it still looks good, and if you wash it, it's clean. But I know people have different mindsets about that.
I think with the furniture thing, um, like I wouldn't mind like a table or something like that, but like a mattress I think would be
No, a
I would
mattress is not. That's no.
right. So
That is
there's
something you need to buy new.
there are certain things that are okay and certain things that aren't. But I think on
Yeah.
the most part, like yeah, she sounds perfectly fine to me. But they have problems where
Yeah.
they seem like they're very far apart, and it's unfortunate they got to this stage, right? Because they should have known each other's habits a little bit more. But I don't know how long they've been together. But you need your partner to be on the same page with you in terms of how you spend money
Yeah.
because it's a very important thing, obviously, and a cause of a lot of grief potentially.
What does What does the last thing say? She got mad and accused me of being a D, and then because it's hidden in your desk.
Yeah, sorry. Um,
And refused to tell me since. Oh. I think he just blurted it out of frustration. I don't think he's an asshole. He just needs to communicate better.
yeah, I don't. Yeah, nobody is really wrong per se. It's just they need to find middle ground. And
Sam's right. Partners do tend to influence each other to change, but hard to find a gap that big. Yeah.
that's true.
Um yeah. They always say like opposites attract, but I think and science has proven that in for a long-term relationship, it works better when two people are more in a similar mindset than like very different. Because then you have to like constantly work together to make it work, while you both have the same like aspirations and goals and thoughts about things. It's more easily to like find a middle ground, sort of say.
Yeah, I would agree. If you're always
Mm-hmm.
stressing out about like how you spend money, then it's going to be a very stressful relationship for sure, and very
Mm-hmm.
difficult to make work. You'll need to really be into each other for that to for that to be worth it.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Oh,
so Ripin, do you have any final thoughts on this, or should we move on to the next one?
I don't know. They sound very young, and I would advise them to either seek counseling to get to a good form of communication, or if they find out that they are just too different, just because I mean, they moved in, but he knew she was thrifty.
He would have known. I don't think she doesn't sound like super thrifty to me, but maybe it's because I'm actually fairly similar to her. I would say I'm
I
fairly
don't
similar to
know.
her.
Yeah, me too. So I I mean every like when my son was born also like everything I got just except the bedroom his bedroom because we got that from as a gift but from IKEA by the way. But everything else like his stroller and all that stuff I thrifted that.
Mm. Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with that really.
Those things are expensive.
And you don't
It
use
knew it
them
was a
like forever, right? So
yeah, exactly. And I knew who I bought it from. It was from someone who used it only for one child. So I still have it.
I think it's perfectly okay. Um,
Yeah, me too.
if you don't mind us asking, Sam, are you the? Would you say you're the thrifty partner or the spend money partner? It's. I think you said your partner was the thrifty partner, right? Or are
The
you both?
thrifty one, yeah.
You're the spend money partner. Okay. And this, I think the point of view is completely valid because you only live once. So if you never spend your money, then yeah, what are you gonna do with your money when you're dead, right? You really enjoy life and nice things part. Yeah, yeah. I get it. Except I'm just not that
Yeah.
person.
Um, I can moderate in between. You know, I like both ways. If I can, I'll look for the bargain, I sort of guess. But I won't let it hold me back on like going to a dinner or having fun in life. But I will always look for the most, I don't want to say cheap, but like the, how do you say that? The thrifty choice?
The what you see as value.
Yeah. Hi,
Yeah.
fatherly shrimp.
I think the things I wouldn't skimp on are safety. So if I'm worried about safety, I would spend money on safety.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, there's things you don't hold back on.
yeah, yeah,
And that's medical costs, safety, and your kids.
yeah. I agree. All right, let's go to the next one.
Yeah.
All right, Rippin, do you wanna narrate for us?
Yes. Oh, I like this one. Would I be the a hole if I kicked out my housemates who have nowhere else to go? After breaking up with my girlfriend last May and her moving out, I invited a couple to live with me in my spare room to help with bills and loneliness. They moved in at the end of July, and the first 4 months were good. Not great, but just good. Initial issues were with the guy, James, who would take cigarettes from my pack when he had run out but later replaced them. Annoying, but he paid me back, so not an issue. Entering the fifth month, things started to get worse. The first week of December, I received a message from James saying his girlfriend Claire had broken the toilet. What the hell did she do? She was drunk and doesn't remember what happened?
Wow.
Oh my god. I tempor I temporarily fixed it, but it is obviously broken and requires a replacement toilet. James said he would sort it, but 7 weeks later, nothing has happened. They are without a proper working toilet for 7 weeks. As winter hit, the house was cold naturally, and I set the heating to come on a modest amount. I can't afford to have it on more, and they pay me a flat fee every month, and I didn't want to ask for more money to counteract bills going up in winter. After a week, I noticed the heating coming on at times I hadn't set and saw they had put the heating on a timer 5 times longer per day than I had it. I talked with them about it and they said they would pay the difference. I changed the smart meter to show how much was being spent a day, and a week later they changed the timer back to my original setting. I don't think they realized how much it was actually costing to heat the house, even the small amount that I was. I have still not received the extra money for the week the heating was on their schedule. I think they now have an electric heater in their room, which I have heard, and I have noticed the electricity use per day has gone up 20%. Sometime in December, they both came home drunk, and I heard James shouting me to come to the kitchen. I went in, and he had his penis out and was waving it at Claire. When he saw me, he began waving it in my direction and following me around the kitchen. I left and went back upstairs. I brought it up the next day, and he didn't allegedly remember doing it. He made no attempt at an apology. When they moved in, I explained I was a former addict and I wouldn't accept drugs in the house. He told me it wouldn't be a problem as he was also a former addict but didn't use anymore. Just before Christmas, we went to a mutual friend's birthday party where James was doing cocaine. I left him to it, but as the night went on, he continually offered it to me, and it was hard not to accept, but I didn't. I left the party early but didn't mention it again. 3 weeks ago, I mentioned to James about them moving out as they initially told me they wanted to stay for 6 months. He said they couldn't afford to live anywhere else, but he had some work coming up that would mean they could move out in June. I don't want them to be left with nowhere else to go, but I don't want them to live here anymore. Would I be the asshole if I just gave them a month's notice and asked them to leave? Uh,
Wow.
oh.
A month's
What
notice is
the hell?
generous.
I'm thinking he probably did cocaine at the penis waving accident.
Accident.
With the
That's very favorable for you
incident.
to. Yeah, incident, not accident.
Incident. Yeah.
No,
What?
that's
Um,
terrible. That
I'm think. Yeah.
if this was
What?
my house,
This
they're
is a
out.
lot of back.
They're out
Yeah.
instantly.
Same.
I wouldn't give
But
them a
I'm
month.
thinking he's probably. Yeah. I don't think he would be able to get them out. What is he gonna do? Like, hello, leave, and if they don't want what they will, this is like, this is why I would never have roommates.
Well, I'm assuming that
You can't get people out.
OP's subletting the house for these roommates. So
Mm-hmm.
if they're subletting, then they have the right to say whatever and make them kick them out when at his
You
discretion, at their
know,
discretion.
yeah,
So you can
yeah,
call the
but
cops if you
I've
want
read
to.
a. I know, but I've seen a documentary on Netflix where there was a similar situation. It was a documentary about a serial killer that moved in with women as a roommate, and then they couldn't get him out. And even when they called the cops, it was like he took over the entire apartment and then locked them out and stuff like that. Since I've seen that, I'm like, no, never taking a roommate.
Yeah, well, I'm with you
I'd rather
there.
struggle.
I have had roommates in the past,
Yeah.
and they were either like really good or really bad. And this one seems like
I
some of my
think you and I
experiences.
are both too much of an introvert and like too much our own space to have roommates.
Mm, yeah, I can totally see that. absolutely. Well, I've got
I'm
a house
always
mainly
looking for
because I don't even want like to be in the same building as other people. Because like there's problems with like strata stuff too. Because you have to like see the other people in your building. That can be a problem.
Yeah. Fatherly Shrimp says, "How do you break a toilet?"
How did she break the toilet?
I
Like
have no idea.
if you jump up and down on it, like if it's porcelain, I still can't see that being breaking.
Who would jump up and down on a toilet?
Well, I'm trying to understand how this even happened. So
What is wrong with it? Did it break? That cannot be the case because then they don't have a toilet for 7 weeks. Maybe it's the flush that is broken.
the flushing mechanism that would make sense, yeah. But
Yeah.
that would only break if like you stuck your hand in there and started like pulling stuff out. Which I think if you're on drugs, I guess that makes sense.
If I were the guy, I would call a fixer and then set the bill to the couple. In the name of the couple. He
I
has their information, so that he can give their account number and their names and address. They live there, so
I have a
set
feeling
the bill to them.
OP is not getting any money from them.
No, nah, they're
But
just druggies trying to crash.
yeah, but I mean, cut your losses at this point. Just don't deal with these people anymore. That would be my take on it.
Yeah, I don't think he would be the asshole in this case. The moment I would have seen a penis, I'm
Yeah,
like, no,
that's
leave.
like how did it get past that point, and we're still wondering if we want them here.
In the living, I mean,
The kitchen
what the
incident is
hell?
like that's calling the police. That's
Yeah,
like sexual harassment, right? It's horrible.
exactly. And then the cocaine, that just wasn't allowed to happen.
Yeah.
Especially when he stated so clearly that he's a former addict and don't want anything to do with it.
All right. So shall we go to the next one, Rippin?
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. This one is I can't get over my overwhelming fear of death. It's not the
Ooh.
occurrence or pain I'm afraid of. That part is insignificantly negligible when compared to the eternity of nothingness forever. No more anything that comes with it. Every time I go thinking about the universe, my mind slowly drifts to death. This time, it was thinking about it as if there was a point in the earth being healthy, and if no one there is here to experience it. Then I thought, is anything important without someone to experience it? Then it was, well, if no one was there to experience the universe, doesn't time mean absolutely nothing? Finally, it became when I'm dead, the entirety of the rest of everyone and the universe's life ceases to exist immediately, relatively speaking. One could say a Roman born 2,500 years ago died exactly the same relative time to yesterday because after death, time is meaningless. My death, After my death, I won't feel anything, ever, for all of eternity, and past it. What's the point in life if one day I will be gone forever? I don't care if my life has meaning. I'm just terrified by not existing. At this point, I had a panic attack, I think for about 3 seconds, where I grabbed my head
This is a very short one.
and stifled a muffled grunt of terror, as if you were trying to make no noise when someone cut your leg off. Anyway, this happens about once a week, and no matter what anybody says about not caring when you're dead, or to enjoy it while it lasts, or that everyone is together in this experience, I cannot get over this fear, because no one knows what happens after death. My guess is that it is what before birth is like, just void, but confiding in someone will never help because no one can overcome the Reaper. We're all glimpses of consciousness waiting to shuffle over the mortal coil. Thanks for reading, though. Well, there you go.
Oh my god.
Existential crisis.
This per- yeah, this person, it's like a part out of a book or something.
Really? I thought this was a common kind of line of thought. Do you not agree?
It's a bit
It's a
strange.
bit strange. Yeah. I think a lot of people
For
have
me, it's a bit
existential
strange.
crises. Thinking about
I agree with Sam. Don't fear the Reaper.
don't fear the reaper. Yeah. So people don't think um, that all of existence is meaningless, and what's the point of it all, kind of thing. That hasn't really come across your
I
mind.
don't think you should break your head too much about the meaning of life.
Hmm.
I mean, there's no point in doing that.
But this person's got like that recurring thought looping in their head.
Yeah, but they are also thinking about the meaning of life in the bigger picture, while you are still a conscious being on this planet with feelings of happiness, sadness, joy, laughter, sorrow, hurt. And in that aspect, I think you should like achieve your own happiness. And that is the meaning of your life. Like not living your life feeling like, bleh. And this is exactly what he is doing. He's putting his mind in a mindset where he's like, "Ah," and then, I mean, what's the point in doing that? I know we all die someday, soon or later. I mean, ugh, yeah, just live your days like every day could be your last and enjoy it.
What would
No
you?
regrets.
So I think your arguments are all valid and right.
Hmm.
I would say something similar. But the person in the post did say that they've heard that kind of thing before. For instance,
Hmm.
uh, I think I lost it, but they pretty much along the same lines of that, like live life to your fullest, and we're all just dust in the wind. It doesn't matter, and
Yeah,
use that kind of thing. If they're stuck on this kind of like mental loop, what do you think they should do?
find a therapist.
Yeah. I think that's probably the only thing. And I think that therapist will have a very hard time trying to convince them
I mean,
out of
if
this.
people, yeah, if people are stuck in that loop, I mean, and they can't get themselves out,
I, I always thought that people would have this kind of mental loop occasionally. Like it doesn't happen all the
hmm,
time, but like every now and then, you might get stuck thinking this sort of thing. Or I
yeah.
could just be
I
like
mean,
alone here, but with
no, no, no.
OP.
I have these thoughts too. I have these thoughts too, and especially when I was around 6 years old, I was very, very much afraid of death. But I have had almost nearly dead experiences now, a couple, and you know, it's not all that bad.
I think as you get older, you come to think that dying is not like the worst thing. Like it's actually like you're fine.
Yeah,
It's just a different state of being.
in any aspect, it's kind of like a way for me to not like hold back on doing things,
Hmm.
because like um you have people who are like, no, 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 we need to work, we need to save money, we're not going to do that thing or that thing because we need to like do this. But at the end of your life, it's not going to be like, oh, he or she is remembered for being a money saver and being like a hard worker, maybe by his employees. I don't know what, but in the end, I think you should just go with the urges and live life to its fullest because every day could be your last.
Yeah, well said, Rippin. Um, shall we go to the next one?
Yes, because this one is confusing.
uh, is this your one?
I'm just gonna check because I can see what I sent you. I don't really remember. Yeah, that's mine.
Okay, cool. Take it away.
Okay, am I the a hole for not wanting to cook dinner? For context, I, 16 male, have spent the past 2 days doing a sport. I was completely buggered and tired and didn't want to do anything when I got home. My mom and I got home around 6:30 p.m. today and I still had to have a shower and stuff. But by the time I was done, it was closer to 8. I was tired and hungry and just wanted to go to bed, but no one made dinner, so I was just gonna eat a frozen meal. Now my brother, my Austin, now, Austin, my brother, 23 male, came over. He moved out and lives just over an hour away and decided to say hi and whatnot as he was hanging with friends during the day. Apparently, he was hungry too, and he didn't want a frozen meal and instead wanted noodles. Not the 2 minute kind either, the kind that takes like 30 minutes to make, and he wanted all his stuff added to it, like chicken and vegetables and egg. I didn't want to cook. I'm 16, I have school in the morning, and I was just so tired and didn't have the energy. Well, mom heard and kind of forced it on me to make the noodles, saying how like he's your brother, can't you just do something nice for him? He hasn't been here in over a week. I offered to cook the frozen meal, but apparently it's not good enough. I did try to protest and asked as to why I had to do it, but mom didn't want to hear it and called me an asshole for being a dick to him. So I stood there cooking him these noodles, which took me half an hour, and then I wasn't even allowed to do anything after it until I cleaned all the dishes, which included stuff from yesterday as well. I didn't end up getting to bed until 9:30, 10 p.m., so am I the a-hole for not wanting to make my brother noodles? This has got me so confused.
I feel like because the perspective is the 16-year-old
Mm-hmm.
OP, I feel like the story probably has been uh, like very biased in some way because it doesn't make
Mm-hmm.
any sense to me.
No.
I
No.
I think that like um, if you're 16 and your parents said and you say, "Oh, I'm just going to make a frozen dinner for and for me and my brother," they would be overjoyed even that they don't have to do anything. So
Mm-hmm.
the fact that they would get angry and and say like, "Oh, you got to make noodles and like an elaborate meal," that doesn't add
Mm-hmm.
up in my opinion. So
Yeah, and also like what he's the youngest.
mm,
His brother comes to visit. Doesn't his mom need to eat dinner? I mean, what is she what?
mm, yeah,
I'm confused. What is his mother doing then?
the story doesn't make sense. I think is
No.
my main takeaway from this. I can't dive into it, take it at face value. So I feel like I think OP's a liar,
I
or
think
just
so too. I thought this story is made up, but then I mean, if in some cases, in some rare cases, you do have very toxic parent-child relationships in which children are made to do like the things an adult does. And this is why I wanted to pick this story, because this is called parentification.
mhm.
And maybe this is a lie, but maybe this is truth. And they are like putting the youngest sibling, this OP, in a position that he has to take the entire responsibility of the household, of taking care of the other people. These things do exist. So,
Uh, yeah, they probably do exist. It's just um, this is almost like Disney level of craziness because this is like, oh, there's like the ugly sister or brother as in this case that gets treated horribly, needs to do all the housework, and then there's the other brother who's like, oh, you're the golden child, you don't have to lift a finger, sort of thing. Yeah, so it's I mean that's a fairy tale, and it doesn't happen in real life, and yet this that they're basically describing that here in this story.
yeah.
Yeah, I haven't watched Cinderella yet, so I'm just guessing what the story is, Sam. And by the way, we
It's
should get
just
back
that
to our Disney watch sessions. I hope.
yeah. It's just well, looking back at my own childhood, I have similar stories. So
Do you think
it can happen.
to the like Disney level, like you
Yeah.
do all the things while other siblings don't have to do anything, kind of a
Yeah.
level? Okay.
Yeah. Like have a complete household run by me at age 12 while I had an adult dad and a brother. He was 10 though, but he didn't have to do a thing. My dad didn't do a thing in the house. I did everything.
Was
Uh
your brother older
yeah,
or younger than you?
2 years younger.
He is younger. Okay. Well, I mean, it's not a
But he
strong.
never had to do it. It was
Right,
it
right.
was very unbalanced. He never had to do anything and I was always, how do you call it, the scapegoat?
Hmm.
And he was the golden child. Or that's at least how it felt to me. He thinks I was the golden child, although I don't see why.
Well, I never
So
had
yeah.
siblings, so I don't know what the dynamic is like, and I'm sure some would get favored over
I love
others,
my
and
brother.
that's a thing. So,
I love my brother, but he had it fairly easier than me. I was the oldest and I had all the responsibilities.
um, so
But in this case, he's the youngest.
so you've explained that this sort of thing could happen. I still think in this instance, I'm still not buying it, but yeah, that's my my overall
Yeah,
sentiment is I don't think the story is true, but I think maybe
I
it
have
happened to you,
no
but
idea.
yeah,
Also, I mean, have you seen the name?
yeah. I'm not gonna trust anybody with this name, so
Exactly.
you
But
know,
if it were true, I would say he was the asshole.
yeah, okay.
A-hole, sorry.
So he should be treated like that by the family if that is indeed how they got treated, like the
If
16-year-old
he
OP.
if it was true, they shouldn't treat him
Oh,
like
they
that.
shouldn't treat him. Yeah,
Something,
yeah,
yeah,
it's messed up.
yeah. But we let's, for consensus, let's just agree that this is probably most likely a lie.
Yeah, I agree. Or just like heavily biased with missing important information.
Yeah.
All right, so let's shall we go to the next one, Rippin?
Yeah.
So the next one is, am I the a-hole for not paying for my food? My family and
Ooh.
myself, 26 male, went out to a restaurant last night. The dinner was a special occasion for my brother's 23 new job in IT, which he's always dreamed of. My dad said my dad said seeing that it's a treat, he would pay for all of us. Regardless, I still took my wallet just in case. The dinner itself was wonderful and the restaurant was amazing. Everything was paid for by my dad. However, after dinner was over and I returned home, my sister, 30 female, pulled me aside and asked why I didn't pay for my own meal. Confused by this, I said to her that my dad said he'd pay for us all. She said that was just him being polite and that my job was not as respectable as hers or my brother's new job. She works in a law firm and I'm a cook. Wow, okay.
What?
I
What
went and
has that
told,
got to do with anything?
if anything, it means that he shouldn't pay. uh,
Yeah.
I, I went and told my parents this and they said they're just happy that we're working people and getting an income. However, my sister suddenly burst and said that my job is not nearly as important, and because of that, I had to pay for my own meal. So, Reddit,
What?
am I the a hole? Um,
What? I'm so confused by this. So, huh?
okay,
Why should he pay for it because he hasn't got an important job?
yeah, if anything, that's more argument for him not to have to pay, right?
Yeah,
It
because
doesn't
the
it doesn't
rest
make
of
any
them
sense.
all makes a lot of money.
Yeah, again, this story doesn't add up. I feel it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But let's take it on face value for a start. Um,
Wait, what does Sam mean with instantly yes?
I'm not sure, but I think her second set thing she said is he's not the a hole.
I'm confused.
So
Why is his sister upset by this?
so when the dad said he would pay, then that's it. You know, no, but
Yeah,
like they don't have to pay.
yeah, I
It,
agree.
it's it's a it's a gesture, and it doesn't matter. Like it, because it's a gesture, that's fine, and he can take it at face value there.
Their own
And
food?
there must
Wait.
be some sort of like personal um there's something there's some beef between the sister and OP, I think. Because that's a very
Yeah.
callous kind of thing to say. Like to
I feel
undermine your
like
job, your working your way of making money. It's a respectable job, you know. Being a cook
he's a
is a hard
cook.
job.
I'm a cook. A cook. Yeah, it's a respectable job too. You provide people with yummy food.
Yeah, I
I
know.
I, I like cooks way more than I like lawyers.
That's a good point.
So and what I mean, maybe he's just now like starting as a chef, but he could become like a big chef someday and make more money than her as a lawyer. He could be the next Gordon Ramsay for all we know.
Actually, and yeah, it could totally could be, and but that doesn't really even mean anything because even
Yeah,
like their
because
status
dad
doesn't mean
said he'd
anything.
pay.
Yeah. So A, the status doesn't mean anything, and B, the dad said he'd pay. I don't
He
understand.
must be a very bad lawyer. Because I mean,
It's a
if
verbal
she
agreement
thinks,
which would hold in
yeah,
court.
because if she thinks he should pay because he has a less important job than she does, then is that also the case that she thinks that poor people should pay their parking tickets but rich people shouldn't
Yeah,
because they have respectable jobs?
it's it's
How
very
is her
very
mind working?
distasteful, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wouldn't want her as my lawyer.
No, or just like her morality or and ethics just seem like way off,
Mm,
and she's a lawyer.
yeah.
Actually, does that make sense? No, lawyers are fine. I don't have any beef with lawyers.
I don't know many lawyers. I do know a lot of IT people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a result of being on your computer a lot.
All right. So shall we go to the next one?
Yeah,
All right.
we're skipping through these a bit fast.
Uh, I think
Ooh,
I think you only have like another 30 minutes, right? So we're probably
I'm
on
gonna
a good
open
pace.
this. What will I be able to read it there? Yeah. Okay. So, am I the a-hole for sending my partner to work with a lettuce sandwich for lunch? So my 18 male partner, 32 male, works full time in construction. Edit, we are both men. Not that it matters, but I'm getting called she a lot. He he makes decent money because he's like a supervisor guy, but he's very busy. He leaves the house by 5 a.m. every morning. I work a little doing some freelance document translation from home, but it's probably about 10-15 hours a week. I mainly make sure the house is in order and that my partner has everything he needs: clean clothes, packed lunch, dinner made, house stocked, etc. It's just the two of us. We don't have kids or pets. He does housework too, mainly outdoor things like lawn care or fixing anything that breaks. Anyway, I usually go grocery shopping on Fridays. So this morning I went to make his lunch and we didn't have that much. We were out of lunch meat, so I improvised. I sent him a lettuce sandwich. It was a thick layer of iceberg lettuce with tomato, onion, cucumber, Swiss cheese, and mayo on a large Kaiser roll bun. And then I sent a Tupperware of these seasoned crunchy chickpeas that I made in the oven, two Linder chocolate balls, and a can of flavored fizzy water. I thought it seemed like a decent lunch. Seems like it. Anyway, my mom used to make lettuce sandwiches when we didn't have money. Well, he texted me kind of mad. He said, "What the hell is this? It's just lettuce." I said we didn't have any meat and I was just trying to put together something in the morning before grocery shopping. He said, "This is not a lunch. I'm going to be hungry all day now. It's fine if we didn't find anything, but just tell me and I'll order in a lunch." Now it's too late to order anything because you made me think I had an actual lunch, but it's just lettuce. In general, he's not one of those carnivore men who must eat meat at every meal, but we do usually but we do usually eat meat. His job can be stressful, so I just apologized and said I'd do that next time. He didn't respond, but now, 3 hours later, he just texted, "Yeah, you're sorry, but you don't really know what it's like to have to do hours of physical work on an empty stomach." I didn't respond, but now I'm feeling a little annoyed with him. Like, does he really have an empty stomach? It was a lunch after all. He is pretty big, like 6 foot, 220 pounds, basically no fat on him, so maybe he does need more. I don't know. In general, I know he works very hard and I get to have a relatively stress free life, so I feel bad making his day harder than it has to be. But I feel like he's kind of exaggerating. Anyway, it's not going to be a big issue. And I already went to the store and I'm making homemade bacon double cheeseburgers and fresh cut fries for dinner. LOL. But I was just wondering if it's really so bad to send a lettuce sandwich for lunch. Edit. So the man is fed and happy, lol. I didn't bring it up or act angry or anything. I just let it go and he did apologize on his own after dinner. He basically said, "Sorry, I didn't mean to be a jerk about lunch, but yeah, next time just let me know if we are out of meat and I'll order some food." And I just said, "Yeah, sorry about that. My brain probably wasn't fully functioning that early," and that was it. Now we are chilling on the couch together, so all good. Oh, and the people wondering why I didn't have food in the house, this man housed an entire tray of enchiladas for dinner yesterday, and that I was expecting to have leftovers to send for lunch today. I was gonna send that with a salad, not on bread, and some crackers and the chocolates. That's why I was a bit of a loss this morning. Anyway, thanks for the responses. Lots of, not the assholes, but yes, the assholes from people who've actually been in my partner's situation. So I'll just be more mindful of that going forward. Thanks all. Damn, that was long.
That's a lot for
Whoosh.
not a whole lot.
Um, Even though the a-hole people said that, I don't still don't think it's this person is an a-hole. I think they just didn't uh grasp the concept of a man working in construction needs a lot of calorie intake to
Hmm.
get through the day. So
Yeah, I think I think it's all really a minor issue, and they all seem to have made up in the end anyway. So I think everything seems fine.
also, I wouldn't call this a lettuce sandwich because it has Swiss
Has
cheese on
cheese in
top.
it,
It's a
yeah,
cheese sand,
yeah.
yeah, a
There's
cheese
some proteins
sandwich.
in there, so it's not completely
For
devoid
me,
of energy.
this would be a big lunch. But I also know that someone who works in construction needs at least 4 to 5,000 calories a day.
Mm,
So that's a lot of food you need.
yeah, yeah,
That will not have fit in that. It's healthy, but it will. Yeah, I understand why he was hungry. And when men are hungry, they are usually cranky. So
yeah. I think he just had the, I'm too hungry and I snapped, and he
yeah,
because you can get very irritable when you're hungry. Um,
yeah.
and then like you're hungry, you're waiting for your lunch, and then you look inside and it's just like a lettuce and a bun. Then I don't think he's in the right, but I would say that I
Mm-hmm.
can understand.
Yeah.
I used to be someone with a fairly large appetite myself, so um, yeah, like being hungry all day while working is just like yeah, it messes with your mind. I would say,
Mm-hmm.
and in the end,
But also,
he apologized when he went home too. So yeah,
yeah,
that,
that's why I wanted to add this story because usually it's like partners dissing on each other and disagreement, and here you kind of also have like the edit where they like say, "Yeah, okay, we talked it out, everything is fine, we're happy together." Like he's not like going all like he was mad and he was saying this or that. He's like, okay, he was mad, but maybe this or that. I mean, it's I have a good feeling about this. This is a good couple.
yeah, and they have a disagreement and they worked it out. So I think they have a healthy relationship.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Yes, it's nice to read that they even, and also I think I get hungry from reading his text.
Well, what I don't understand is I think they said something like if uh if you don't have anything, just tell me and I'll order lunch. But now it's too late or something. Is
Yeah.
Can they only order lunch like in the morning or something,
Pro-
or
yeah,
because on the construction site
where I
maybe?
live, yeah, where I live it's the same too. You have to order lunch usually before like 10 so they can bring sandwiches or stuff like that and get till by noon. Um yeah,
Okay,
some workplaces are like that.
all right. Oh, that yeah. I'm just picturing my workplaces where there's like 10 different takeaway places down the
But
street. So
I yeah, I get that because I've lived with a man like that and he ate probably a kilo of potatoes in the evening, so
oh my goodness.
yeah. Yeah, big men need a lot of food.
Fantastic. All right,
Okay.
let's go on to the next one. Okay, so this one I put down says,
Ooh.
am I the a hole for not letting my wife go to medical school? I, male 35, have a wife, female 34, who stays home to take care of our 2 children. I'm a relatively wealthy software engineer, and I've been trying to be financially responsible to save money for retirement and my children's college. After getting into a few medical TV shows, my wife has an obsession with being a doctor and has been trying to convince me to pay for her applications to go to multiple medical schools. I think this is a stupid decision because my wife has been out of her communications degree for 11 years now, and she hasn't even taken the MCAT or anything like that. And if by some slim chance she does get into medical school, her tuition would wreck our finances and cause all sorts of problems with childcare. I tried explaining to her that this decision isn't realistic and suggested that she try and do some other training like being a CNA to get a taste for being in the medical field first. But she got mad at me and said that I am stealing her away from her career aspirations. Am I the a hole? Um,
Hmm.
so Edit says, I told her I would support her taking a smaller step into the medical field by becoming a CNA or nurse first. So
Mhm.
I think the CNA must be some sort of nurse test or accreditation.
Yeah, some sort of critical care nurse or like a nursery home or something. Wait,
So
that's what MC is.
I think it is, yeah, yeah. Where is MC? because
MC, we're talking about you.
because it's more
He
realistic.
he he made a TikTok.
Did he?
Yeah, he's got a TikTok account now.
Wow, good for him. Does he do like the nurse? Like they do like nurse dancing.
No, no, he did something with money. I don't know.
Interesting. I don't have TikTok. Um, so
Go on, to you. Sorry for bothering you.
I'm just trying to find where I was. Because it's more realistic for
Because.
her uh, to get that position and advance to medical school. I never
Hmm.
forced her to stay at home and do childcare. I do a third of the household on top of my job, and she asked me to stay home because since we got married. She recently changed her mind. I understand your concern. I don't overly restrict her spending or any financial rule that we create is imposed on her is also imposed on me. All large scale financial decisions over $1,000 have to be approved by both of us to occur. We can both buy necessities and anything we want underneath $1,000 occasionally. Since her 50 applications exceed $1,000, we both need to approve, and I don't approve at all. Additionally, my wife is refusing to take the MCAT despite my encouragement to do it first, because she thinks studying for it will slow down her timeline. And to those who are suggesting that I agree to let her apply to fewer schools, she doesn't like that compromise. She insists to maximize her chances by applying to at least 50. She also doesn't like the compromise that I offered her of trying another medical career first like nursing. Well, there you go. Don't crush my dreams is essentially what she's saying.
Um, what's your view on this?
I think this is a really hard one. So if you're in a relationship, you have to have a very in tune approach to life, and this is a major life decision. Um,
Hmm.
So I'm getting. So we have to take into context here that we don't live in America, right? So going to
Mm-hmm.
medical school is like
It's
extremely
gonna cost a
expensive.
lot of money. Yeah.
Yeah. In Australia, uh, it would be a fair chunk of money, but like it'd be the equivalent of say like buying a car or something. That's
Yeah,
how
there
much.
it would be the equivalent of buying a house.
Yeah, maybe more. Especially if you're going
Mm-hmm.
to a good medical school. So she's essentially like asking for that level of financial like commitment by the couple in this
Mm-hmm.
relationship. So it's definitely a big deal. Um, so the other point of view is this is her. It sounds like it's her dream, and the husband is probably right in thinking that it might be it hasn't been explored enough by her to know that it's like a long term thing. But
Mm-hmm.
nonetheless, it could still be her life's aspiration to be a doctor. And if you've got like that kind of level of disconnect between your spouse and what you want to do, then you might want to actually consider like your life doesn't make sense together. I think because if she's really committed to this is what she wants in life, then um, the husband is okay in saying that he doesn't want to like follow along this path, but equally she probably needs to go off and do it on her own if she really wants this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Uh, so I think I don't know what it is, but I think the MCAT must be some sort of entrance exam for
Yeah,
medical
to
school.
see if you, yeah, you need to like, when you going to go into medical school, usually, I don't know if it's the same, but I think you have to like uh reach a certain standard, and if you reach that standard, you can go and when you apply, you'll have the standard and you'll be like, okay, I have this and I can go in and blah 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 blah. Because I don't think it is a bad suggestion. First of all,
Yeah, I agree.
she's out of school for what was it?
11
11
years.
years?
11 years with a
She
completely
didn't
unrelated
she
degree.
did she never studied anything medical related in the past before. She did communications. That's an entire different field of study, and it's not because you're smart that you will be able to do everything.
Hmm.
That could be like it's not because you're interested in medical TV shows that you will be good at studying medical stuff.
Hmm.
Um Second, you are not just a student anymore. You're a mother, a wife, and if you want to do this, I mean, this is your choice. You cannot expect your husband to pay for all your whims. And you should find a job to support that desire as well. I'm sorry, that's my view on it, because this is going to take a huge chunk of money out of their capital, and that money is also like for their kids' future. What if your daughter or your son wants to be a doctor and you'll be like, "Oh no, you can't do that because mommy had a wanted to be a doctor too, and then she did it when she was 34, and then she realized when she was 40 that it was not going to work out and she quit." I feel like she's having some sort of midlife crisis. She needs to find out if this is really what she wants, and in the meantime, she can do the MCAT to see if this is actually going to work for her to study these things, because it's not easy.
Yeah,
I think his his
I
his
think it's
his
completely
suggestions are not
reasonable.
bad.
Yeah, it's completely reasonable to ask them to see how they go on the MCAT. That's a good barometer to see how serious they are and whether or not they have the aptitude to do it. I don't think that's unreasonable in
Yeah.
the slightest. Especially for like a really big life decision like this. Yeah, and
I can't say
he says he's a wealthy software engineer, but yeah, they're mm, yeah.
it's still, I
I think
mean,
he's
what is
perfectly reasonable.
wealthy? Yeah. And also, what is wealthy?
Software engineers in the states make pretty good wages. Well, maybe not since this year, but prior to this year, yeah, they like the big tech companies were throwing out money, like the Apples and Googles of the world. Hey, hello, Alexis. Uh, you also need to decide that career choice before you have kids, so you don't blame them on your recent for your failed dreams. Yeah, that's a good point. Like, is watching a few medical TV shows like even like a good indicator of what it's like to be in the medical industry? I don't think
No,
so. I Yeah,
no.
it seems very naive to think that.
Yeah. Because those are like, yeah, no. I mean, because I've studied midwifery and nursing for 3 years,
Hmm.
and then some like applied health sciences. Um, it's not the same. Because I remember when I was 16, I was watching like the birthing TV shows, and I was like, I want to be a midwife, I want to be a midwife. And then I started studying that. And then you get like everything that is implying that. And at my second year, I was like, no, this is not going to be for me. I don't want to do this.
Mm.
So, what if this happens? What if she's like starting it out and then realizes, oh, this is like not what I expected?
Well, she definitely will if she thinks medical TV shows are what it's like.
Yeah. So I don't think she's fair to like say that he's stealing away her career aspirations. I think she needs to like look into who she is, what her qualities are, and where she can put those. It's not because you like a TV show that you need. I mean, I liked Sabrina the Teenage Witch, but that doesn't mean I have to start being a Wicca. I mean, what the hell?
Yeah, so I think pretty much most people are in agreement. I would say like the take the MCAT. Yeah, take the MCAT and see where you go
Yeah,
from there. It can't hurt, right? Why is she upset about taking the MCAT? I don't understand. And
I don't
but
know.
despite that, if she really wants to be a doctor still, OP is not a hole for being worried about this situation. If the wife wants to be a
But
doctor after all this, then maybe they might want to think about splitting up or something. But it's her decision to make, like
or
life trajectory to make.
or she finds a job to help with paying for the education. This is her choice.
I She's been out of work for 11 years. It sounds like she got out of college. She may have gotten like a first or second job, and then she was like a stay at home partner after that. So I feel like she wouldn't be able to pay for medical school. Is what I would think. Medical school's expensive, yo.
She would still need to take a loan, probably.
Yeah.
What is your comment saying? Agreed you can do both, but that choice should not impact or hinder others. What is this about?
Uh, I am not a breeder, but if I was, I wouldn't have kids till my needs were met financially and professionally before I choose to add the headache of another human in my life. Yeah, I think that's a good point of view, Alexis. But people have kids earlier than that, and they're stuck with the kids.
Uh,
Yeah, I'm not sure.
yeah,
I'm
and
not sure about
also it
your
doesn't.
subsequent comment. Sorry, go on.
Um, Also, it's not because you made a choice when to study something in your 20s that you cannot change your mind in your 30s. It's not because you have kids that you shouldn't aspire for a new career path or an education.
Mm.
You just need to take everything into account when you do that. And I'm an expert at that because I study, I stream, I work, and I'm a mom. And I pay all
Rippin
for
does it
it
all.
myself.
Rippin does
Yeah.
it all. Good job, Rippin.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I have a lot of aspirations.
Yeah, she just hopefully she knows the impact of her decision, and
Yeah.
and if she accepts that, then she should go
This
go for
is
her dreams.
yeah. Yeah, this is also why I say she needs to like take responsibility for this because this is something she wants. She needs to figure out if this is really something she wants and then she needs to work it herself to get it.
Mm. Yeah, and just reading between the lines, I can understand the OP being super sus about it. Yeah, especially like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm watching a few. She watches a few medical TV shows. Now she wants to be a
Yeah.
doctor. That's on the surface level, that sounds ridiculous.
Yeah. Cuz like when I decided to go back to university, this was not just something that came out of a whim. It was something that had been in the back of my mind for years and years on end. Because when I chose my field of study when I was 18, um, this was also an option, but I didn't follow through to it. I chose the other way. And then I've ended my college years, and it always lingered in the background of my mind, but I also always thought that I wasn't like capable enough of doing it. And then eventually, by going through therapy and job counseling, I was like, okay, now it's a decision I need to make. Will I choose this? Will I not choose this? I chose to do it, but I'm taking full responsibility of that myself.
Hmm.
The only thing I ask is a bit of arrangement in home life, but yeah,
So
sounds like OP is a bit biased, honestly.
I would say so. Um, yeah,
Probably.
probably.
Everyone
Yeah,
always is.
maybe she's been talking about it for like years, and
Maybe.
and now it's only
Maybe this is something.
registering in his brain, and now he's like, oh, she just watches a few medical TV shows. That could very well be the case.
Yeah,
But I still think what's in black and white is she doesn't want to take the MCAT test, which I think is pretty reasonable.
stupid.
Yeah. All right. So shall we go to the next one, Rippin?
Yeah.
All right. This is your favorite one, so I'll let you take it away.
Ah, yay! Would I be the a-hole if I kept a kitten? Would I be the a-hole if I kept a kitten I said I would give my friend? Sorry in advance for any formatting issues I'm on mobile. So my cat has separation anxiety. When he first started showing signs of it, I talked to my dad about getting him a companion. He was initially against it and didn't want another cat in the house. My coworker's cat had kittens and she was offering me one, so I picked one out and told her that I was still trying to wear my dad down, which was true, and that I might not be able to take him. She said it was fine, but that she hoped I could take him. From now on, we will call this kitten B. In early December, my friend S, 21 females, new kitten started getting sick. The kitten unfortunately didn't make it, and my friend was understandably really upset. I told her that if she wanted, I could bring her a kitten from my coworker's litter, and that I already had one spoken for. She said she'd love to take him, and that was supposed to be that. However, she lives 280 miles away. This wouldn't have been a problem because we had to go to her city anyway for a family thing, and the thought was that we would just drop B with her on our way through. However, our plans got moved up a couple extra weeks. We've had him a month now, and while I've tried to keep up a level of separation because I never accepted to keep him, both of my parents have fallen in love with him. They want me to help my friend find a different cat and keep B. I don't know how I feel about it, and I don't know what to do. My dad is insistent that she'll understand, but I'm really not too sure. I think I might be the asshole because I did tell her that she could have him, and I've been sending her pictures right along. I know that she's excited to get him. On the other hand, I would absolutely help her find a different cat. I've also never seen my mother dote over an animal like this. The only time I've seen glimpses of it is when she talks about her childhood pets.
I've honestly I found this one a little bit hard to follow. So basically she offered S a kitten, but wasn't able to follow through because her mother wanted the kitten. Is that essentially what we're talking
So
about?
this person has a cat, and the cat is a bit lonely. So they initially were going to adopt a kitten from a coworker who had a litter, and along the way, a friend of hers who lives far away, her cat died, and she promised the cat that she would take into her own home to her friend, which is, in my opinion, a stupid decision.
That's
Anyway,
silly.
so they took in the cat. The cat got accustomed to the home, to the other cat, to the parents, and now they don't want to separate from the cat. And her question is, would she be the asshole if she kept this kitten and looked for another kitten? for her friend, even though she already sent pictures and promised this kitten to her friend.
That's very complicated. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll leave this one to you. Comment first.
Well, I don't think she should have promised her initial cat that she would take for herself to her friend. And as the cat is already accustomed to the home, you need to consider the cat too, and to the people. I wouldn't send her to the friend anymore. I mean, if the friend was a bit reasonable, she'd be happy with just any kitten she got.
That's true.
Just find a cat that looks like this cat and say that it's this cat or something. I don't know.
But that would be lying.
Cat, catception.
All right, Sam. Thanks for hanging out. It's been fun having you here and your comments. Well, have a
Yeah,
good
I'm gonna
sleep,
have
Sam.
to go soon too, actually.
All right, so we can wrap this one up, and we'll call it a stream there if you want.
Yeah,
Um,
but yeah, I wouldn't lie about it, but I would like discuss the option of finding another cat because this cat got really attached to the people. Put it with the cat and not with the people. Um,
mhm.
yeah, if I were the friend, I would understand and I would be happy with any kitten.
Did they say anything
I
about
mean,
why the friend is so invested in this particular cat if they haven't met the cat before?
no, no,
So that
just
seems
that
a
she
bit odd.
sent it. Yeah, just that she sent pictures of the kitten and she's like, um,
Oh, that's adorable.
excited,
But all kittens are
excited to
adorable.
get him. Yeah, exactly. And I would be, I mean, any kitten that is be sent to me and like promised to me, I would be excited about. So if they suddenly found another kitty that is super cute, how could you not be excited about that? I wouldn't be upset.
Not if you haven't met them before, but like if they had some sort of like if the friend and the kitten had been acquainted for some
They
time,
haven't.
then that would change
No,
everything.
they haven't. They haven't.
Yeah. So in that case, I don't feel it matters at all. So yeah, keep the kitten and get her another one. I say.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
But be open and honest about it. Communication is key.
Yeah. Just tell
Hi,
her the
Mama.
situation and it would be perfectly fine. Hello, Mama. Meow.
Ah,
Oh gosh.
I'm losing hair everywhere.
Just just like a kitten.
Yeah.
Alexis says
Well, I am a kitten.
from the last one. I had an assistant who changed career paths every few months. GMAT, MCATs,
Oof.
ISATs. A bit too unstable, but no follow through after the first exam results were unfavorable. I think that's fine.
Mm,
Yeah, you can go for your dreams, but you have to have the um, like the aptitude as well to follow through. Otherwise, it
yeah.
just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. It's not easy.
It's not easy,
So,
no. But fight for it if you want to.
okay.
Um,
Fight for your dreams, fight for your kitties.
or in this case, just get another kitty.
Yeah. I'll be her kitty.
Fantastic. So do you want to leave this as the last one, Rippin?
Yeah, because I need to, like, get to lunch. I'm getting a headache because I'm getting hungry.
Oh, that was just like the story we had before. Make sure you don't have just a cheese sandwich and lettuce.
That would be actually enough for me, but I can't eat cheese and lettuce, so
Oh, that's true. That's true.
okay.
All
Well,
right.
I enjoyed this one.
Yeah, I think we're getting smoother at this, and
Yeah,
yeah, we'll keep it
and
going.
this setup is good too.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah, me too. It was fun.
All right, so we'll say goodbye to everybody on both streams. Uh,
Yes,
thanks everybody for joining in and chatting with us. These have been super fascinating and interesting insights into human behavior.
exactly. We will be coming up with more stories in the future.
Sounds good. Thanks a lot, Riffin. Well, I'm gonna go.
Yeah,
I'll see if I can rate anybody. Let's